Yeah. Yo, they're trying to cancel my man Andrew Tate, man, the top G. There's somebody named who the is this? Matt. By the way, let me show this first. Okay, so this is what the person's saying. Andrew Tate is teaching young boys to be violent, misogynist. It's time for social media platforms to do something. They want Facebook and Instagram and TikTok to cancel him, right? They're like, yo, he's a kickboxer, blah, blah. He said women are men property and blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 da, da, da. Okay. Okay. They use certain clips. These are the clips they're using. Let me see. Oh, my God. So they said in this widely circulated video, Tate, who's 35, explains that he prefers to date 18-year-olds because they've been through less dick than women in their 20s. He says it's easier to make an imprint on young girls. This is also known as grooming. Now, let me tell you what I believe grooming was or is. I could be wrong, so I'm just shooting off the hip. I think grooming is if you know someone's underage and you're basically grooming them that once they become legal that you're going to be with them. So you're almost like you're kind of putting in the structure in place. You're dealing with them, you're doing whatever, taking care of them, that once they become legal, you could like with them. Which I think everybody just kind of knows that's wrong. You know what I mean? Clearly, you know, you should be dealing with people who are over 18. This is just my opinion. I don't think that's what Andrew Tate was trying to say. I think he's just saying he likes women who are younger but legal. Now they're gonna make that sound very inappropriate because you know, he's 35. I did a podcast with him, and when I did the podcast with him, he made very great sense when he was saying in other countries, people usually go for women who have less experience with other men, and that might happen to be with people who are legal. Now it's one of those things. It sounds kind of bad because of the society we live in now, but he's not saying that he wants to like kids. He's saying that, like, you know what I mean, he wants to deal with women who don't have a bunch of bad experiences. That's how I take it. You get what I mean? Now, I will also say this. I think there's a slight hypocrisy about when people point shit out like this, because the difference between, I don't know, I can't think off the top of my head. I know a lot of, like, whether it's billionaires or a lot of successful people, like, all right, think about this. Let's look at Donald Trump. How old is Donald Trump? We're going to Google it live. Right? So how old is Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump is 76 years old, right? His wife is Melania Trump. How old is Melania Trump, right? 52 years old, right? So the difference between them is literally 24 years old, right? Now, granted, I'm sure that when he got with her, she was way over 18 to send third. But there is a shaming process for people or dudes who don't date women who are older. Because I don't think there's a shaming process for this, even though, let's just do the math. I'm going to say 20. Let's say Andrew Tate's going after a 20-year-old. And by the way, for anybody who's watching this, I need this to be, just to be clear, I need this whole video, if anybody's going to clip it, to be in context. I don't want nobody snipping and shit out of this. Tate, if he's 35 and he's dealing with somebody who's, let's just say 21, right? 21. That's 14 years. I think they would still say that's grooming. That's 14 years difference. Donald Trump is 76. His wife is 52. That's a 24-year difference. which is almost an extra 10 years plus what Tate has done. Aging is very interested when it comes to like, the male and female dynamic, because I think as women age, and to some men they might become less desirable, there is an additional shaming process that kind of gets incurred upon men for passing up on said women. You get what I mean? Now, of course, they're going to use someone like Andrew Tate at the end of the spectrum, because again, Andrew Tate is saying he don't want to date no girl. He said when I did the podcast, he don't want to date no girl over 25. You get what I mean? Like, I've watched conversations about aging, especially with women, and if you've ever seen a girl in their 20s, they're so very cognizant. Women from 23 to 30, it's like every day they wake up, they realize and they acknowledge that they're a little bit older, and it's very much on their mind. You get what I mean? As opposed to men, like I'm now, 30, and I don't be thinking like, damn, I'm old as shit. But women, they look at 30 almost like, once they're 30, they're done. You get what I mean? And I think that manifests itself in the sense of shaming dudes. You know what I mean? Be like, well, if you're 70 and you get with a 50-year-old, that's no problem. But if you're 35 and you get with a 21-year-old, that is a problem. Which I'm like, is it the age difference or the fact that that person won't date, someone who's probably over 30? Who knows? Anyway, let me keep going through this.
The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are...
Okay.
Who knows?
Okay, this is another clip right here. Somebody says, much of his content is laughably ridiculous, like this video where he says he knows CPR but wouldn't perform it on a man because that would be gay. And this is where, I don't know if Andrew Tate cares, but people are taking the shit too serious. Like, Andrew Tate is kind of an entertainer, but even if he says certain shit, I don't even know if he believes it or not. Why is everybody acting like this is like the president speaking on some shit? You get what I mean? So essentially what he's saying is that, and I don't think he means CPR. I think he means like mouth to mouth, like resuscitation or some shit. I don't think it's like actually CPR is like some different shit. I think he means some mouth to mouth shit. Like this is where like people who get mad at shit like that, like me up, where it's like, bro, I get that we live in the United States. Which, by the way, Andrew Tate don't live in the United States right now. But like, I come from a country that's so non-tolerant, or used to be very non-tolerant. What he just said there, the majority of the people in where I'm from, nigga, they wouldn't. Of course, they wouldn't be making videos to say it, but they wouldn't do it either. That's just what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the era that I grew up in Jamaica, there's no nigga who's gonna be like, oh yeah, if you're dying, I'm giving you mouth to mouth. It's never gonna happen. You get what I mean? Like, Andrew Tate just saying it. That's the only thing which I'm like, listen, I'm not jumping on whether he's right or he's wrong. I'm just saying there's a lot of society, there's a lot of the world, and I know people only care about what's going on in the U.S., and we're into this very super social woke wave, but there's a lot of the world that's intolerant or just not up to speed with certain shit. Like, do they need to be canceled and repealed and just, disbanded from the internet? I would say no. You know why? Because if that's the case, listen, no disrespect to the people of like Ukraine who we keep sending billions of dollars to. Let's start analyzing some of their cultural practices. You think we are going to agree with everything they got going on? No. I get it. The U.S. is now fully woke. You better accept everybody who's transgender, who is gay, who like, who's trying to themselves with their own dick, who cut their own dick off, whatever the case is. Completely get it, right? We live in the U.S. But the world isn't that up to speed. Not everybody's tolerant. And also, if somebody says something that's not like completely just hateful or prejudicial, we shouldn't be just jumping down their throats like, oh no, you're bad, we need to get rid of you. Bruh, you go to Afghanistan and you say this like, yeah, if some guy, like, if a guy needs mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, I'm not doing it. Bro, you're a hero. If you say you're going to do it in Afghanistan or Iran or one of them countries like that, nigga, they're looking at you like you should be stoned. I'm telling you. So again, bro, like, I get it. We're super woke right now in the United States, but you know why Andrew Tate's popular, though? Let's just be very clear why a nigga like him is popular. He's popular because shit just gone too far to the pussyfied, like, left. It's like everybody just got to be a bitch. Like, everybody got to be just like, oh, like, no one could just be like, yeah, nah, I'm a little ignorant to that. Like, bro, ignorance has always been part of, and by the way, I'm not co-signing ignorance where it hurts people. Like, for example, like, I think there was ignorance when it comes to the, you know, the Nazis and the Jews. That's ignorance that is disgusting. And, you know, when you look back at just, you know, as society and history, you know, that should have never been allowed to happen. But there's always been ignorance. There's always been people who just never understood certain type of lifestyles, or certain people who don't indulge in certain type of lifestyles. And that's just what it is. But these days, it's like the woke is like, bro, this is one guy who's saying he won't do one thing. It's not saying, he ain't trying to preach no one should do it. He's saying he won't do it. It's a personal opinion from one guy. And everybody's acting like this is some, like, cancellation type of shit. It's one guy saying he won't do one thing, maybe because of his beliefs or maybe because of his ignorance. Who gives a fuck? But let this one guy do whatever the fuck he wants to do, as long as he's not preaching to the masses that, yo, hey, no man should help another man if they're like choking on a rock, or I don't know, just got saved from drowning, he mouth to mouth, whatever the case is. That's not what he's saying. But these days, this is some cancellation shit. If you're not saying what the monolith is saying, you are just seen like a bad guy, bro. He said this in a joking way, but now, you know, it's one of the. I can't wait till he responds to all this shit, because it's gonna tell me a lot about him. The reason why he's popular is the reason why they want to cancel him. People are tired of of this pussyfied generation we live in, and they want somebody to speak about it. But they want somebody who got charisma, somebody who don't depend on it, and he's the guy. He's the one who's saying, I'm the millionaire from Romania. I don't give a fuck about y'all. I don't got TikTok, but I'm still popular on TikTok. I don't give two. And people just don't want him to fold. In the fact that they probably don't agree with everything he says, but they probably just agree with the fact that he could say what he wants and he's not going to be able to be canceled. You know what I mean? Like, we live in a society now where, I remember when Trump first won, right? And I wasn't a Trump supporter initially, you know what I mean? I told you, I'm voting for Trump. I don't give a fuck what that nigga say. Next time he run, I vote. But initially, I remember when Trump won at first, I'm like, yo, how did this win? And you know, I said that, I say, oh, bro, I don't even know nobody who likes Trump. I've never heard somebody in real life. The first time Trump won, never seen nobody in real life before he won, look me in the face and say, bro, I like Trump.
The reason
hold on. So I was like, yo, how did this win? But you know what really happened, bro? It's called a silent majority. These days, you could lose your job, your livelihood, you could get persecuted, you could get casted out of the cool society if you have an opinion that's not down with everybody else. So you know what people do? They shut the up, they don't say it, but they cast a vote. Whether it's with their wallets, their attention, or their vote when it comes to the politics. That's how Trump won. Half of these niggas didn't say they were Trump supporters, but Trump won. Just like, I think, like Andrew Tate, they're giving the vote of their attention. Because even though they don't want to say that shit because they don't want to get canceled, they're going to listen to him all day. And for him, I would think he don't give a Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, but underneath the absurdity, Andrew Tate, the most darker, insidious consequences of the influence he has on young boys. He's not just another edgy misogynist on the internet. He's also one in real life. He's been on an investigation for sex trafficking and whatever in Romania where he lives. And one video explains that 40% of the reason for moving there Romanian. Okay, all right. I like this clip. So this is why I find it so disingenuous when people are going against this guy. You don't have to agree with everything he says, but for anyone who believes in, if you're of the Muslim faith, if you are of the Christian faith, if you read the Bible or the Quran, you're going to realize that they pretty much consider women as property. This is not something that's going to be made up. That's just what it is. Okay? You know what I mean? When you fucking God and Christianity is kind of just embedded and sewn into a lot of just American history. Like what's that shit that people say? Like you're under God, one nation. What like nigga, like this shit's all over the place. You know what I mean? Like basically we embrace this Christianity stuff that also basically say that homosexuals are bad and that women are property. So some of this like bad what they're calling it, bad thinking or misogyny or whatever the case is, this is rooted in religion, and religion is so much tied to the United States. You know what I mean? Like, yo, there's that Pledge of Allegiance, right? Like, yo, it's a Pledge of Allegiance under God, blah, 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 one nation, all that type of stuff. Yeah, like, religion is kind of like, religion's a little bit extreme to what we are living in today. Religion is non-tolerant of certain stuff. Now, granted, I'm not saying I choose whatever or the other. I'm just saying that when people get mad at him, when at least in the way he phrases it, when he says that women are property, if you kind of read the Bible, that they kind of seem to be positioning women as property for men. Now, here's what I'm saying. I've always said, give me the rules, I rock with it. I don't give a what it is. We could denounce Andrew Tate, but let's denounce some of the stuff that's going on in the Bible too. Do you get what I mean? Like, the Bible, let me tell you this. I grew up in a society, I grew up in Jamaica, and when it came to like the church, and any time when homosexuality was mentioned, when I grew up there, it was very non-tolerant. It was very non-tolerant of just homosexuality. You know, basically it was almost preached. I won't say necessarily in the church, but it was almost like accepted that homosexuals should almost die. That was the mantra at that time, and it was backed up by, you know what I mean, I forgot the actual Bible verse, but it was Leviticus something, which basically said if a man lays with another man, he deserved to die. That's in the Bible. Like, you know what I mean? This is all in the Bible. You know what I mean? It's not like, yo, people just kind of just came, just be like, yo, we just hate whatever. We're fucking reading like this book, and this book is like old as dirt, and everybody's going with it, and some societies be like, yo, I think we should, like, you know, evolve beyond it. And in some societies, like the ones that are poorer, like places like Jamaica, is like, bruh, all we got is the Bible. The Lord saved us from everything. We're not about to like defy the junk. That's what it is. So it's like, you know, again, we have to acknowledge some of the historical maybe the historical biases that some people that have these opinions have. Because when I hear Andrew Tate with this, I don't think that's an original opinion he's spewing. I think that's an opinion that comes from religion, if you ask me. Now, okay, what's my personal opinion? Do I think women are property? No, clearly not. I don't think women are property. You know, I think we live in a time now where everything has changed. There's a time that women were viewed as property, like even in American history. But this is one of the reasons why a nigga like me don't even believe in like marriage the way how people believe in it. You know what I mean? Like a big part of marriage historically was because women was almost seen as property being transferred between men, which means a father could transfer it onto to the future spouse. That's how it was almost like a transaction, and the marriage was the fucking that was almost the contract, and that was the legality part of it. That's not the case anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think we've just grown to evolve to realize that women ain't property, And because of that, it's like, that's why I then in turn say, why the fuck are we getting married then? You know what I mean? Like, marriage is for when you could actually have, like, people like Andrew Tate and a lot of these dudes who are in this red pill space, not saying that Andrew Tate is because they're still trying to live on this traditional realm of traditional values that they believe women and men should live under. That's over. Chivalry is dead. Half of the stuff is like, you know, that used to exist, that we had systems in place for, is dead. So why would you still continue some of these things and act like we haven't changed from this traditional aspect? And I just think marriage is one of them. So that's why I really don't give two fucks about marriage. You know what I mean? I think women have been brainwashed to believe that because marriage is a status symbol, they need to have like the legalities of it just because that's the only thing that makes it happen. I'm like, no. Like if I got with a chick and a chick wants to get married because she wants to stun on her friends, yeah, we could do a ceremony with no fucking paperwork. Okay, I give you a big ass ring on your finger. We have a big ass party. You invite all the bitches. You know that's what chicks want to do. We invite all the bitches you want to stun on. You stun on all them, and then there's no paperwork. I don't want the government in my shit. You get what I mean? Like, we're in a new age, you know? Yeah. Anyway. I have no idea. It seems like I can't take context from this. Slap, grab, blah, blah, blah. I can't tell if he's in some BDSM shit. I can't tell if he's in a rough sex, or I can't tell if he's abusive. I can't tell. I got to see the longer clip, so I just won't comment on it. Videos of Andrew Tate been viewed a billion times. Blah, 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 blah. Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway, they're trying to get rid of Andrew Tate. Do I think it's gonna work? No. I think we gotta have some balance. And I've always said, when trying to attain balance, we oftentimes indulge in extremes. Like a lot of these motherfuckers who be like extremists, they like say they're radical Muslims, right? Them motherfuckers, they always start off by saying, yo, no, like, yo, I feel like we're disenfranchised. I feel like, yo, we're being hated for no reason. And they usually start off pretty like, you know what I mean, even keeled in terms of, no, we just want to be respected and, you know, not persecuted against. And we want like fairness. Just like how feminists usually say, we want equality. But usually what happens down the line is that really nobody wants real equality. Niggas want superiority. You feel me? So them radical Muslims is like, man, yo, okay, man, fuck them niggas, man. Like, we about to show them niggas, okay? Just like the feminists these days, feminists don't want no fucking equality. They're like, man, fuck them niggas, man. Women are the best. That's just what it is. You get me? And I think that's just what happens all over the place. And I think even with the red pill shit, sometimes I be warning you about some of y'all about this red pill shit. It's like, bruh, yo, if niggas is teaching y'all that women are just fucking innately evil, like, them niggas are losers. Just facts. You get me? And if women are just telling you just to completely be a bitch, them women are just trying to just violate you and just like take advantage of you. It's kind of in the middle. Like, people don't want to admit that life is kind of in the middle. One of the things I could definitely say, and I don't know if this goes to Andrew Tate, but it might. I've said this about this whole red pill space. Bro, these are a bunch of fucking nerds who literally finally made some money, and now they're now preaching this whole thing that, yo, because we're rich and we could, and by the way, this applies to me too, because nigga, the bitches that want me now would never want me if I was broke. That's a fact. Bro, I admit it. But here's the thing, some of these niggas, they're mad about it. Like, they're not even at the point of accepting it and just realizing that's what it is. They're trying to preach a message to dudes who, put it like this, the possibility or the probability that y'all will become as financially well off as me is very low. Bro, it's not a lot of people who are going to be millionaires and multimillionaires. You know what I mean? And that's the only thing I think is a little bit dangerous, because put it like this, whether it's for Andrew Tate or anybody else, bro, Nigga, if you're showing off a Bugatti, like, yo, some of these niggas won't even own a fucking Mercedes in their lifetime. Okay? They're not even gonna own a Maserati. They're not even gonna own a G-Wagon, nigga. And that's some shit that's cost still under $250,000. You're showing off a $5 million car, like, nigga, that's unrealistic. So I always say to the dudes who listen to some of this stuff by these dudes, is like, yo, if I was telling you how I could operate with either women or operate with, you know, I don't know, like say I'm like, yo, when I show up to a club, niggas do this. And if I'm giving you advice on how to get in a club, right? Because that's how they treat me now, knowing that there's a 1% chance that you'll get to the position that I'm at, that you could get treated the same, why would you ever want to listen to that? I think some people take that, some people are upset at women and they take that too far. That's my only thing I've ever said. That's why this high value male shit has always just been innately bullshit. Because y'all, like, I hear dudes be like, well, a high value man will be able to share a bunch of girls will be able to share you. No, you fucking idiot. You're a fucking engineer making $89,000. There's nobody about to share you because you make a lot of money. You get what I mean? Like, bro, like, now, granted, if you're Diddy, bro, like, look at these girls over Diddy. Like, that's Diddy. Now, granted, I ain't gonna lie, there's gonna be some exceptions. Some nigga who, like, you know, I don't know, maybe girls think he's attractive or he's slanging good dick in the hood and some bitches are fighting over him. Maybe that's the case. But I'm just trying to tell you, like, this whole high value male type of stuff, if you're not in the 7-digit type of wave, bro, these girls ain't finna share you unless you're dealing with bums. You get what I mean? Like, you're not gonna have drop dead gorgeous 10 out of 10 girls sharing you if you not making millions of dollars. And y'all are watching this thinking that, oh, this guy who I like, Andrew Tate or so-and-so, that's how they treat women because they're in that position. I should take this education and I should think I could do it at a certain point. No. So, you know what I mean? Most of y'all are delusional. You know what I mean? And that's just reality of it. Somebody said, did he what? Somebody said, I'm stating the obvious. No, I'm not stating the obvious. You know these dudes, like, oh, by the way, and I guess this is what I was trying to get to. For all of the, by the way, I told y'all, Andrew Tate was the answer and the, he was the next up, the heir apparent to Kevin Samuels. He's the biggest, most popular person, even though I don't think he considers himself in whatever, Red Pill or whatever. I don't even know if Kevin Samuels did. He's the guy that's kind of like, he's like the voice of men, okay? But here's the point. What's going to happen and what's happening right now recently is that the pendulum is swinging back again, and it's swinging back even quicker than we thought. Because all these dudes, they're getting exposed. I'm watching all of them. They can't even articulate a point. You know why they can't articulate a point? It's not realistic. I was watching some shit. This nigga is just stuttering. He don't know what's going on because in reality, he can't justify why he's telling regular men who don't make over $100,000 how they should treat women when in reality, none of them dudes is probably in the position that he's in. So he looks stupid. So you know what's happening now? You know who's getting, you know, all the people who's getting really popular? All the dudes that is exposing all the red pill dudes. That's all that's happening. I'm watching it right now. I'm watching it. Every time they do a debate, these niggas look super stupid. You know why? The high value male shit, it doesn't hold water when you can't apply it to much people. When they have to admit that what their whole philosophy is based on such a tiny subset of the possibility of the population, it goes into, so that's not generalities then. You're not talking about regular men. You're not talking about most men. You're not talking about the large majority of men. You're talking about the 0.5% of men, which your audience most likely won't never be, which maybe you are, but it's dangerous that nobody else should believe this bullshit because now you sending them on a dummy mission. And that's what we're realizing, okay? Like, you know, I'm watching all these conversations happen, and I'm like, hey, that's what it is. It's kind of true. Somebody says mindset. No. The mindset part is great. The mindset part is great. Like when it comes to shit I do like what Andrew Tate preaches in terms of mindset. He's absolutely right. You should wake up thinking that, you're here to conquer. You're here to, compete. You should want to be someone who is trying to get better. Self-improvement mindset, not knocking it. What's the problem is that people extrapolate on those things and start to talk about perks and talk about benefits that only apply to 0.5%. Okay? The reality, because everybody keeps talking about income, the reality, if you're not a big baller, most women make more than you. So how is whoever telling you you're a high value man even relevant? Women make more than you unless you really got the bag. And the chances are it's very rare you're going to be really having a bag. Just, you know what I mean? Like, the shit don't hold water. That's what I'm telling you. Again, I'm only predicting the future. I see all these conversations happening, and when I'm seeing it happening, the dudes who I like and respect, they're not looking as best as they could look, just off the fact that it's only specific to them. You can't extrapolate to a large majority of men. And the majority of these red pill dudes is acting like they're giving game to the majority of men. No, you're giving game to 0.5% of dudes. Y'all don't got to believe me. I'm just trying to tell y'all.